kind of always weird doing it online.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Planning and Development Committee meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 9 o'clock. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any late items for the agenda? No? Okay. I just want to recognize Deb's online too, so she's not with us, and we have some guests online, Bryant and Pam, and some more people on there. Can't see them all, but welcome. Approval of the agenda. Recommended that the Planning and Development Committee meeting agenda for December 6, 2023 be approved as circulated. Can I have a mover? Ian, seconder, John. All in favor? Great, thank you. New business, water course. Oh no, we got to recommend that the Planning and Development Committee meeting held on November 15th be adopted. Can I have everybody read those minutes?
I didn't intend.
But you didn't follow up and read your minutes?
You bet I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have a mover? Okay, John, seconder. Deb, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, new business, water course development permit, retaining wall at 101 Capel Street. Steffi, you're gonna take us away. Thank you.
Sure. This is the development permit for the property located at 101 Capel, which can be accessed through the Capel Street as well. This is for construction of the existing retaining wall, just repair. We have a recommendation today. So it is designated as, this is location of the subject property, designated as channel development area and commercial waterfront town center. It is also within the water course DP. It is zoned as MUR1 and W2 within the zoning bylaw. And it is also within the floodplain. So the applicant is proposing to construct a retaining wall as part of the flood protection work. So this is a site plan that he submitted. So the dashed ghosted line, that is where the new retaining wall is supposed to be. So this triggers the requirement for a water course DP. And a section 11 approval under the Water Sustainability Act is required from the province. So the applicant is actively working with the province to get that. He did submit some initial conceptual drawings about replacing it with a professionally engineered MSE wall and provided some examples from other places. But we're still waiting on the final drawings, construction drawings and final site plans. But he would submit that once his conversation with the province is done. So today, the recommendation would be on the condition that the final construction drawings are submitted so that it can be reviewed by the operations department, because they had concerns. The concern was like to consider and accommodate the ditch storm drainage. And also they're interested to work with the applicant in the design of it. So once they get a chance to review the final drawings, then it'll come back to the council with additional comments or recommendations and also notification from the province. Hopefully this will be done before Feb. That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, Steffi. Okay, I'll read the recommendation. Recommendation that the Planning and Development Committee recommended the District of Sicamous Council authorize and issue the development permit number 23-348 DP to permit the development of an emergency retaining wall for the property legally described as Lot 6, Block 2, District Lot 496, Kamloops Division, EL District Plan 2396, 101 Capel Street, on the condition that the final construction drawings are submitted and the district receives notification from the province in support of the application. Can I have a mover? Ian, seconder, John, discussion. Go ahead there, Ian.
So is this the end of, or is Capel Street the end of where we take the 3 meters for the potential walkway? Is that where this?
I'm not sure if the 3 meter is in front of this property, but I know it's like towards the end, the opposite side of Capel. Like within the active transportation network plan. I remember seeing that, but.
So I guess that we should just maybe check into that. I don't know what the original plan was, how far that goes down, but everything along Riverside's subjected to that at this point.
We did check into like the tenure for the front of this property and I was not able to find, so I called the province and she said just because this is like a flood protection work, emergency flood protection work
Okay,
might not be required.
okay,
But she told me that she would get back to me maybe in 3 weeks to confirm that.
I could just add a little bit to that. I know years ago, we talked about the 3 meter walkway, and it used, they had plans to go all the way to the Legacy and around over to 2 Mile, which is pretty unfeasible to hang it off the side of the highway, all the way around to 2 Mile. And we've talked about it for years and it kind of conceded that, the retaining or the walkway would end at Capel and come back along, White Pine Crescent and then come along the highway and go all the way down the highway. That's kind of where we're at, but, I don't know if there's any, bylaw or anything about the 3 meters, carry it on all the way.
And I think that's what it is being reflected in our active transportation network plan, showing the 3 meter walkway to the opposite side of Keppel and then on the highway.
And then going down the highway, yeah.
okay, so it's already.
And one of the other things I remember as being a neighbor to this property, was this is one of the only properties that I recall on the channel, because when we did the dredging proposals, he didn't own the property at the time, but Harry Mitchell owned it. And it's the only property there where the owner owned out into the ground, out into the water.
Okay.
Maybe that's why
Yeah.
the tenure thing, and this is one of the only properties in Sycamoose that the fellow owns the tenure. It's kind of a weird piece, but anyways, I don't think it reflects on anything what we're doing here today. John, do you have anything?
I do. We did talk previous about, or we did some research, I believe, as well back in the dredging part about sheet piling. I'm just wondering if it would be more cost effective and it would be also like to keep the continuity of the water frontage looking right.
Go ahead there, Sarah.
Chair, yes, we did actually end up taking a call from the applicant. And he did say, like, that's kind of the issue at the section 11 level, is that looking at the feasibility of the type of wall. And he said that it looks like what they're going to do is this engineered sheet wall with soldier pilings, but waiting for confirmation. And that has to do with the amount of space there is, because that accessory building is very close to the water. So in terms of trying to get some works in there that are gonna fit, that's feasible, that's kind of where they're at. And that's why this is taking a little bit longer in terms of getting the section 11 approval. So.
Thank you, Sarah. Deb, did you have anything? I don't see up there, but
Yeah, just a quick comment. So are we hearing that the province is turning around some of these a little bit quicker now? Because, it says emergency and, like repair work. And I'm just wondering, like how quickly the province is turning these around, since it had been a big issue in the past and they said they had resolved it. Just curious if they have.
So
Steffi?
initial timeline she told me was 6 months. Usually it takes 6 months, but because this is like emergency work, she said she'll get back to us before like February, because that's the date they want to start the construction. So yeah, since it's an emergency, they're gonna make it fast. Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
great. I'll just also elaborate on the retaining wall. John, that's a great idea. We have sheet piling underneath the bridge. And I did talk to a fellow by the name of Ross Gallant, who used to run the ferry service. He owned the ferry service here, and him and his son got into he's in the pile driving business and retaining wall business here years ago, and dock business. And Ross actually him and his son have been back in Alberta, or out in Vancouver right now, and I think in Surrey, but they're doing massive big retaining walls. And they did the flood protection wall all the way along the Bow River in Calgary, and it was all sheet piled. And so I got talking to him, and he really thinks this is a great project here, and to be able to somehow do the Sycamoose channel with sheet pile, the whole channel. And it's way easier to install than it is the bricks. The bricks are, you gotta excavate, quite a bit in and you have to do it when the water's really low. Or sheet piling, you can do it anytime. You can do it when the water's high. It's nice to do it when the water's high, actually, because you can actually have a barge come right in and you can drive that sheet piling right down. And it works really well. Like it hasn't moved at all underneath the bridge that I know of. And for other block wall, you can still do a bed and dig it out, but it does settle and that whole channel is full of jelly, pretty much. So I like the idea about a sheet piling compared to block wall, and it'd be uniform, just like you see in Holland and along the big rivers over there. They go for hundreds of miles of sheet pile on the Danube River from Holland, Amsterdam down the Danube River. So it's world renowned to put, sheet pile that lasts forever, compared to a block wall where you're always maintaining it. So that's just my point, but anyways, anybody else have anything else on this wall? No? Okay, can I have a mover for the recommendation? Ian, seconder, John? All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Great, thank you very much. Okay, development various permit number 23-344, DVP 850 Shuswap Avenue. Sarah, you're gonna take this one away?
I believe so, yeah. Okay. So this is that really neat house on Shuswap. I'm seeing some marks, yeah. It's very, very interesting. Next slide, please. I'm clicking. Sorry, we're just having technical difficulties with our mouse. So there's a positive recommendation from staff. There's 2 variances requested here for an addition to the existing garage. Next slide. Location on Shuswap Avenue. Next slide. So under the official plan, this area is designated medium density residential. And the property and the surrounding properties are all zoned R1, 1 and 2 unit residential. Slide. So we've got a site plan here. You can kind of see where the addition to the garage is going on the right hand side of the screen. It's got like a red bubble on there. So they're looking at doing this addition to the existing garage. They want to add a little washroom in there with a toilet and sink. It'll be in the rear yard directly behind the existing garage, so it's not going to impact how the street looks. And it's not going to be taller or anything like that, so it'll blend in. It will meet the setbacks and it's well within maximum parcel coverage, so there's no concerns there. And what they want it for is so that they can store their personal property as well as have a shop space. Next slide. So we do have a maximum floor area for accessory buildings on our smaller parcels in town. And that's 100 square meters. So they want to go from 100 square meters to 135. So that would be the total floor area with the existing and proposed. And then the bathroom is a little bit big. They originally wanted a shower in there. So they're going to take that out because our zoning bylaw doesn't allow for showers in there. So they want to increase the floor area from 3 square meters to 6 square meters for that bathroom. Next slide. So here's some photos, what the property looks like right now. It doesn't, we don't anticipate that this is going to change with this addition. Next slide. And here's the recommendation. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. All right, let me read the recommendation here. Okay, recommendation that the Planning and Development Committee recommend that the District of Sicamous Council authorize the issuance of development variance permit number 23-334 DVP to vary the maximum floor area of an accessory building from 100 square meters to 135 square meters, and to vary the maximum floor area of the bathroom within the accessory building from 3 square meters to 6 square meters for the property legal described as Lot A, District Lot 452, Kamloops Division, Yale District Plan, KAP 47343, 850 Shuswap Avenue. This 6th day of December 2023. Can I have a mover? Deb, seconder Ian. Anybody have any concerns or questions?
Deb does.
Go ahead. You're good, John?
Deb does.
Oh, Deb, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm just so damn happy it's not a tall Quonset thing. They've got an extra large property. It's not visually obtrusive. They, lot coverage, it's like, to me, this is, no worries at all.
Okay, thanks, Deb. Okay, Sarah, I just had a question. Why don't we allow showers in the, in garages? I didn't know we didn't allow.
I think it's just to help keep the boundaries very clear between accessory dwellings and accessory buildings. So that, because an accessory building doesn't necessarily need to meet, it doesn't meet the same standards for occupancy. So I think it really just has to do with that. So I mean, if someone really wanted to turn this into an accessory build, like a secondary dwelling, they can, like our bylaw allows it. We just need to make sure that the permits issued for it reflect that.
Okay, and the applicant is okay with not putting the shower in?
Yeah.
I just wondered why, and that's something we should look at. If you have a nice shop, it's nice to have a washroom. A lot of people, do all their work and then you can have their shower in the garage instead of, carrying it into the house. So it's just something.
Keeps the wife
And
happy.
they were given the option to ask for variance for that too. They just chose to X the shower out.
Yep, no, it's a great application, supported 100%. So that's great. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody's good with that? May I have okay, we've made a motion, seconder. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, moving right along, development variance permit number 23-467 DVP 222 Stone Ridge Drive. Steffi, this one's yours.
Thank you. This is for the property located at 222 Stone Ridge. This is a location map. It is accessed from Stone Ridge Drive and it has water and sewer connection. The applicant is proposing a single family dwelling. Currently it's vacant. And the single family dwelling is well within the parcel coverage, meets all the setbacks. Sorry, it's also zoned as R1. 1 and 2 unit and designated as residential low density. So the proposed single family dwelling, it is within the parcel coverage, meets all the setback except for the front. And it also has a secondary suite within the building with a separate entrance, and it meets all the floor coverage requirement for that secondary suite as well. Initially, the request was the front setback to vary from 6 meter to 0.325 meter. The problem with that was that it was really close to the property line and sidewalk. And there could be issues with some operational work happening between the land between the sidewalk and but we recommended and the applicant was ready to push the building a little bit to the back, asking for a variance from 6 meter to 2.3 meter right now. This reduces all those challenges. And also this variance permit aligns with the council's strategic plan priority for housing because it has a secondary suite that has a potential of providing long-term rentals as well. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Steffi. Okay, questions? Everybody's pretty good? Have you good? All right, we have a mover. Oh, no, I haven't read the recommendation yet. I only got 6 hours sleep last night. All right, let me read the recommendation. That the Planning Development Committee recommend District of Sicamous Council authorize the issuance of development variance permit number 23-467 DVP for the property legal described as Lot B, Section 30, Township 21, Range 7, west of the 6th Meridian, KDYD Plan EPP 7668. 222 Stone Ridge Drive to vary Sicamous zoning bylaw 1000/2022, section 4226. The minimum setback for principal buildings and structures. Front setback from 6 meters to 2.3 for a single family dwelling. May I have a mover? Ian, seconder? John? Okay,
Actually, I do have just one question, more
go ahead.
on our end. Why do we have a 6 meter setback on the front? Is that just to allow yard space generally?
So that was R1 zone setback, and this is like the challenge with this particular site and why 6 meter doesn't work is steep slope.
Yeah,
And that's why this variance, but all the other properties on Bayview is R5. This is the only one.
okay.
But the challenge would be if he wants to change, like rezoning would take more. But then even with that, he might need to apply for a variance. So this seemed to be a simpler process compared to going to the rezoning and variance, which might take 2 months.
Right, okay. Yeah, no, it was more like a question because 6 meters is, well, it's quite a bit, yeah.
And with the safe building site, there's only so much he can go to the back because there's retaining wall and things like that, so.
All right. Good.
Okay, that's great. Sarah, you had something? You had your hand up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if that was in general question, the 6 meters, is that the case or just more in this context?
Well, no, I mean, in general too, right?
Yeah, so here's my response to the in general, is it's a way to plan for future road dedication. So that if a local government needs to take more land to do road widening or add sidewalks, utilities, that kind of thing, as the community grows, as it becomes more urban. So like in our rural context, it perhaps doesn't make a ton of sense right now, but it's all about the future. So that it ensures your buildings are further back, so you've got that space to take that land if you need to.
Oh, that's interesting. So we have 6 meters there, but we'd have to expropriate that land.
Yeah, and it does happen, right? Like, so there's lots of communities right now that are putting in complete streets, right? Like they're putting in protected corridors for bikes and, or scooters, that kind of thing, that have like a meridian between to protect them. I don't know if you've seen.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so that's for future. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and it would also work, like if you're on a waterfront and they wanted to move to a 0 setback. And you didn't want to give a 0 setback because you might want to put a walkway in there at some time or something like that, right?
Well, and also for hazardous conditions reasons, right? Like property.
Okay,
No natural boundaries move in a road and, yeah.
okay. Great, thanks, Sarah. Okay, we got a mover and a seconder. Now I'll call the question. All those in favor? Carried unanimously. That was easy. All right, moving right along. Development service update. Nicole, you're gonna bring us up to date. You guys happy?
Thank you. I actually don't have too much of an update this round. A lot of these files are still on hold pending provincial approvals or other applications that have to be approved before they can come through. We're going to hear about quite a few next week, and then we've heard about the 3 today. Other than that, if you go to the next slide, there's not too many new applications coming in. I think we're pretty caught up, actually. Which brings us, I think, to the next slide. We just wanted to talk about our next PDC meeting and whether or not we should have one, because at this point, there's no new applications. We do maybe have some stuff coming for January 17th. But other than that.
Okay, what's everybody feeling?
I'm always for less meetings. I mean, I think we could put it off. If something comes up, we could certainly convene. I'd have no problem with that.
Yeah, Deb, you're good with that? Yeah, okay. I just want to add, one thing we want to start looking at in the new year is our OCP. I think we should probably, start looking at our OCP and just maybe when we have time for, we don't have a lot of things on the go, is some kind of explanation. I know you guys have lots on the go. Explanations of like the contaminated site problem, and I call it a problem because if you look at our applications, a lot of them are on hold, determination of contaminated site, and explanation of how that procedure goes, and is, I'm always trying to figure out how we can speed up the development process, and cut the red tape, and maybe these are areas that we can't cut because it's province driven. But, yeah, just to understand this contaminated site process and that. So you know, as we move into next year, we can look at those things, but if you guys are good with not having another planning and development meeting, I'm okay with that too. So we'll do that. We'll see you guys in the new year. Yeah, so let's see, anything else, Nicole?
No.
That was it. Okay. Great. All right. Well, we'll go to adjourn. Recommend recommend that the Planning and Development Committee meeting for December 2023 be adjourned at 9:30. Mover Ian, seconder John, and Deb. All in favor? Very.
Oh,
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
was it? And I must vote type of day.
Thank you very much. Thank you online, everybody.